Hello SGD, Say Geometry Decoded, and this will follow. So recently I've been putting up, looking at sacred stones on the Omphalos naval stones, but also how they connect the centres of the world. For instance, I'll put this in the description, how London on the Nile, but also how New York on the Nile, and some very interesting, curious connections between these cities. Now, it's also important is that they both have an Egyptian obelisk, Cleopatra's Needle, London, and Cleopatra's Needle in New York. Now they were originally, so they were transferred from Alexandria in Egypt. Now the lighthouse of Pharos was at Alexandria. The great library of Alexandria was an important centre for the study of astronomy. Prior to that, we have the much more ancient city Heliopolis, name in Egyptian, I can't recall at the moment. Now there's not much left of it, and so there in that location we have what's left of this is the obelisk, Heliopolitan obelisk, that's still in Heliopolis in Egypt, northern suburbs of Cairo, part of this temple complex. The main priest there was known as the chief of the observers. It was an astronomical point of study, part of the mystery schools described by people such as Strabo and others. Now, Alexandria itself, Heliopolis, predating Alexandria as a place of study of geometry, this was destroyed during the Assyrian invasion. When they invaded, they destroyed quite a few temples leading to the Sayyid period of pharaohs. But so Heliopolis, study of astronomy. Now the other place to study astronomy was at the Library of Alexandria, which matches with this pyramid projection. And there's a lot of curious connections going on here. Now that projection leads us to the London stone and to Cleopatra's Needle in London. There's some like curious stuff going on here. But Heliopolis is a famous place of study, but we also have Heliopolis in Baalbek. So the New York and London stones originally from Heliopolis, centres of finance, politics, and power. Now, okay, here's another place where we have a sacred stone at the centre of the world, a navel stone. Now the pyramid itself, I'll put this link in the description. For a while I've posted a while back, I've got to update it, working on this based on the actual measures of the pyramid, in that each side has a slight variation. That's an important feature, but this variation, so for instance it's over half a foot, nearly 20 centimetres difference between its shortest and its longest side. Now, with a piece of rope, you could get much higher accuracy than this, given that there is so much accuracy in the shafts and other places throughout. Clearly, they could do better. This was intentional. This was to pass on information, margins of error. And I've done there's so many. So that's an exaggeration, but the pyramid is more trapezoidal than what it is a square. That in itself contains very, very important information, which is important to consider as what I want to show you now. So again, this theme now, centres, okay, Heliopolis, we can close that, we'll leave the Kaaba. Now another important centre is Baalbek, which, as in Baalbek, as in Baal, Beelzebub, that's the origin of the word. There were different variations of Baal, Baal Hamon, Baal Zabub, and that's where we get but this also became a very, very important centre for in the Romans, and they built a extraordinary, in the Roman sense, not overly extraordinary, but yeah, if I just stand alone and you're unfamiliar with the rest of the Roman construction, it's a pretty amazing place. But we can get rid of those and go to the Kaaba. So Heliopolis, the center of astronomy. Earlier we had the Ben stone, and then the obelisk, so New and Middle Kingdom. They started erecting this type of obelisk. These obelisks are not as ancient as many would suspect. Just like with a lot of temples that are ancient Egyptian, are actually during the Ptolemaic Greco-Roman era. But what's interesting is, now firstly let's go down to the pyramid. And thanks to Sharif, I forget his full channel name, he pointed this out to me and it got me interested in it, because now let's look at pyramid alignment. So every corner of a pyramid has there's slight variations on each side and each corner, but let's go to the corner. So we're just going to cut from corner to corner, and we go to the Kaaba, where they all walk around in the center there. So there we have, put it on the very center, and extraordinarily close to 800 miles, which is a very important feature. But let's look at the heading. Now, if the pyramid was a perfect square, we would want 135 degrees or 45 degrees, off the compass there. So it's 135.56 degrees. So 0.56 degrees off. Now, why is that interesting? 135, or let's say 45.55 of a degree off 45 degrees. Now let's go back. I'll put that alignment up. Okay, so we put the red line so I can clear. So now we have that red line, which gives us 0.55 of a degree from the 45 degree angle. But again, the pyramid has slight variations on each side. And now we go back down again. Time scanners was this great recent series, and so it's long been suggested that the Great Pyramid is aligned to the ancient city of Heliopolis, this center of study and astronomy. And given that each side of a pyramid has meanings, and this hypothesis I've been having is just bearing so much bloody fruit. It's yes. So now we're going to go through these corners, which represent measure and time or astronomy. So previously it was geometry and proportion, points to the Kaaba. Now measure, the meter especially, which connects to time through the pendulum, defining the Egyptian royal cubit, which defines all the pyramids. So now we're going to run through those corners. So we start there at the southwest corner. Again, we'll be looking for a 45 degree angle. Now, I probably should clear it. Let's try and get it. Even better be something around about there. Okay, now I'm going to run through the corner. Now we want about, if it was purely accurate, we're getting about 45 degrees, which we're getting there. But again, the exact corner, so there would be 45. Okay, but let's first extend it to Heliopolis in Cairo. There are other roads had a Heliopolis as well. So there we see. Now, what's left there is not much, but it would have been a larger temple precinct. So that's that obelisk which survives at Heliopolis. 44.9 degrees. Okay, so we see there that the pyramid, and again it's been confirmed that time scanners he did using best modern survey technique, they discovered, well, that it is aligned to there. I'm just using Google Earth. So let's clear that, and we go back down, and now we have another famous Heliopolis, and that being Baalbek, as it's also called, previously called, and then the Greco-Roman period they renamed it Heliopolis. So So we start again at the corner. So that Great Pyramid alignment to the Kaaba was 0.55 of a degree off the 45-degree angle, but again, Great Pyramid, small variations on each side which would change the angle. So if we go down to famous temple at Baalbek, we could go anywhere from it. That's not because it's a small. It's not changing the angle. For instance, see the angle 45.56, just like in the Kaaba. Okay, now if you go over, it's 45.55 degrees. But what we have is, well, the same offset, the margin of error is the same as from the Kaaba. So we have the red line. I've just drawn it from that corner there, but again, anywhere in this temple complex, it's 0.55 or 0.56 degrees off alignment. And now that on its own, okay, interesting, but we have a link between the later Heliopolis, center of power, and we go down to Cairo Heliopolis. It would be running right through the precinct. So you can see where this red line passes through. If I was to shift it a little bit within the Baalbek complex, again, it will come even closer, but this piece of, I suppose now virtually wasteland, would only be part of the Great, so Heliopolis, exactly how much would have extended out from there. So Great Pyramid alignment, following again these margins of error of astronomical geometric timekeeping, measurement, proportion, phi, pi, and all the other constants which emerge from that, linking these places on the Earth. And I got more, for instance, the temple now, but even the distances have the harmonic processional numbers, geometric numbers, square root of 3, cube root of 3, the vesica, sacred, all the essentials, the most important beginning elements of sacred geometry emerges, linking these centers, navels of the ancient world, from the very, very ancient through to the classical period, Greco-Roman period, through to the modern era now in places such as London, where they've transferred these stones across. And remember, Greenwich, London is 0 degrees and 0 hours. Same thing, important of navigation. And now, a lot more to come, but this will connect. I'll put some extra links in the description and all the Omphalos other videos as well, because it's not just, it predicts things as well, including new cities that are being built and new architecture by the very important architects and sculptors. And well, okay, with that, there you go. Have a good one.